Welcome back, everyone. If you could please like, subscribe, and sign up for the bell, I would really appreciate it. And if you enjoy learning from me in videos like this, you probably would also like learning from me on my exclusive members-only platform, The Academy with John Gress. And on The Academy, you'll get access to longer form tutorials than you'll find on YouTube. I release one exclusive video per month, and also you'll get access to 2 monthly live Q&A and critique sessions. You'll get early access to my YouTube videos, discounts on in-person workshops, and access to an exclusive members-only Facebook group. So for more information, just go to johngress.com/academy. Also, there's a 3-day free trial if you're interested in checking it out with no obligation. So in this video today, I'm going to break down 3 different looks created with hard lights. And you could basically call this the battle of the hard lights, if you will. I want to give you sort of a flavor as to what you could expect from the humble 7-inch Grid Reflector, a Parabolix 35D on spot, and a Bowens 200mm Fresnel. And then at the end, you can draw your own conclusion as to which one won. So for this look with Kassan, I wanted to use the humble 7-inch or 18cm Grid Reflector. And I had 2 of them in this, well, actually I had 3 of them in this composition. But let's start off with the XF data. So I was using an 85mm f1.2 Canon RF lens, but I was shooting at 1/200th at f5 at ISO 100. I was using 2 of those 7-inch or 18cm grid reflectors with 20-degree grids placed about 6 feet or 2 meters from the subject. One was on my right, lined up with the right edge of the backdrop, and one was on my left, lined up with the left edge of the backdrop. The power setting for these 2 lights was 4.0, and that on the Elinchrom scale translates to around 125 watt-seconds. And in case you're wondering, this is the only one of these looks today that doesn't have any video. The other 2 have all sorts of behind-the-scenes video. I just wasn't planning on making a video when I was shooting this look. So my hair light for this setup was also a 7-inch reflector, and I did that because I wanted all of the light to be hard and crispy and sort of give a uniform appearance. And if I took my light meter and I put it on the back of his head and I pointed it towards that light, it would have metered at f5.6. And the reason why I had it there at that amount of brightness is because I really wanted it to have a big impact on the shot. Normally, I would have had that light about 2 stops down from where I would have his face, and that's because normally I'm going for subtlety, but this image is definitely not about subtlety at all. And I was inspired by another image that I saw on Instagram. But one of the things that I noticed in my image after the fact, and then I noticed, I think, in that inspiration image, was that my shadows looked kind of weird. One of them was warm and one of them was cold, and I couldn't quite figure out why. And I think in retrospect, it's because the light that was on camera right was bouncing off of a brick wall next to the windows on camera left, and that light was spilling back into the scene. So if I could do this all over again, I would have placed 2 V-flats with the black side out on either side of the set so I could eliminate the chance that there could be color contamination in my shadows. The other thing is, if I would have moved the lights back a little bit more, the coverage would have been more even head to toe, and so that's something you might consider if you try doing this setup. So for this image of David, I used the Parabolix 35D on spot. And the Parabolix 35D is pretty much like the Broncolor Para 88. It has a focusing rod, and if you place the light all the way in, that would be the rod all the way out, the light is extremely hard. And if you place it all the way forward in the modifier, close to the edge, then the light gets softer. The manufacturer described this as you could dial in the amount of contrast you wanted, by moving the light forward for less contrast or all the way to the back for more contrast. So for this setup, I wanted really hard light, so I put the light all the way in the back of the modifier, and then I placed it off to camera right about 6 feet or 2 meters from the subject. I wanted to create that very classic sort of editorial, one light, hard sort of vibe. And I used a RF 70 to 200 millimeter f4 lens at f5.6 at ISO 100. I believe that my shutter speed was 1/200th of a second, but it doesn't really matter because I was greatly overpowering any ambient that was in the space anyway, and so the results that you're seeing here are just the result of that one hard light. So for this final look with David, I used a Bowens 200 millimeter Fresnel, and this is the type of modifier that you would use if you want to create a very focused light that looks a lot like sunlight. It's also the modifier you would use for that old Hollywood sort of vibe. Once again, I was using the Canon RF 7200 f4 lens at 70 millimeters. I was shooting at 1/200th of a second at f5.6 at ISO 100. I had the light placed off on camera left at about 10 feet or 3 meters from the subject. Now, if I moved the light back a little bit further, I would have gotten more coverage and I would have had more detail there at the bottom of the frame, but I'm not entirely sure. That would have been a bonus. It just would have been a different look. So just keep that in mind if that's what you're thinking looking at this image. So now that you've seen the 3 different approaches, was your favorite one the 2 7-inch grid reflectors with Cason coming in there and creating those hard shadows on the background? Did you prefer the classic editorial look with the Parabolix 35D on spot? Or was your favorite modifier the 200 millimeter Fresnel? Please let us know in the comments below because I'd really love to know which one you like. I'm going to be experimenting a lot more with hard light probably this winter. It's kind of fun to play with, so I hope this all helped and maybe sparked some ideas. I hope you guys stay safe, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.